Hey YouTube, what is up? How is everybody doing today? We're jumping into something a little bit different. We're doing news reporting. It's more drama than it is news, I'm not going to lie to you. But, drama in the metal scene can be interesting. We're jumping into what's just been released, or like 2 days ago released, should I say, on Insta from Alex Weber, former Obscura. But before we do that, we're going to dive into a little bit, give a little bit of backstory, at least for the backstory that I know. Obscura are one of the bands that have switched members constantly. Like, in terms of, if you see the list here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 members. And then touring musicians, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 24-ish members across their lifetime. But yeah. I'm gonna use the Wikipedia version of Obscura. So, Obscura is a German technical death metal band from Landshut, founded by guitarist and vocalist Steffen Kummerer in 2002. I butchered his name. I do apologise for that. The band has released 7 studio albums, a compilation album, and 13 music videos since its formation. The latest album, Sonication, will be released on the 7th of February 2025, a day after my birthday, funnily enough, but it turns out Obscura's latest release isn't exactly what people were expecting. It's very different. I reacted to it yesterday, and it's very different. It's not technical death metal. It feels more like a basic insomnium death metal, like Melodies vibe, I guess. I don't know what the best way to describe it actually is, but in that terms or that terminology, it's kind of in that space, in that way, in that, you know what I mean. But yeah. So, we are going to go through his statement, and then we'll discuss and we'll talk about it, and we will see. I don't have a lot of information. I only have one side of the story thus far. I only have this dude's side of the story, so you're going to have to bear with me on that. But still, this is Alex Weber bass, which I'm assuming is former Obscura. Obviously, he's a bassist, so obviously former bassist of Obscura. So, anyways, let us go into the comment that we've seen, but still. I was really hoping it wouldn't come to this. I'm not one to create drama and stir the pot unnecessarily, but I am sad to hear that the new Obscura tune contains melodies that I wrote and melodies that I did not give Steffen permission to use. That in itself is damning as it is. Without adding any extra context to it. Just that by itself is damning to whatever degree you want to call it, right? It's very... I don't know what the word is for it, but if it is copied melodies, if it is them using things they don't have permission to use, this is going to go into lawsuit. This is going to go into everything, right? It's going to go into pure legal proceedings by the looks of it, or it could do potentially. It depends how they rectify it, right? But if this has been released, this has gone through labels. I'm assuming I'm assuming Obscura aren't an independent band. I'm assuming they are signed to somebody, but I can easily search them onto Obscura. Signed to... they are signed to Nuclear Blast and Relapse Records. So yeah, it's gone through Nuclear Blast. It's gone through obviously Relapse. It's gone through their channels. It's gone through the whole production of the music video. Gone through the whole production of going through YouTube and going through Spotify and Apple Music and all the other retailers that are doing it. Plus, there's also an album coming in a month's time. So there's no telling which or who or how many things have been stolen in that point in time. We know of one thus far. Maybe more, I don't know. For me, I know of one, right? This is the one that I know about, but stolen, I don't know if that's the right word for it. But, it has that connotation where it's very much theft in that way. Using a tune that isn't his or a melody that isn't his is something that can get your whole band disbanded. It's something that could, send Obscura back into obscurity. Forgive the pun, man, but you know what I mean. But still, it would have been one thing if I was credited for this or had given him written permission to use it. But that was not the case. It's not about money, or even being that attached to the melody. It's a matter of principle and intellectual property theft. I agree. I 100% agree. It's not the fact that he did it, it's the fact he didn't ask to do it. Like, it's the fact that he stole it. Like, it's not like... I'm assuming if he would have just asked to use the melody, to use the thing, he would have been allowed to use it. Or he would have, like, given written permission, or, you know, at least had the decency to ask. Then, of course, it would have gone that way. It would have, like, like, it may have been okay. It may not have come to having to publicly out and shame and, you know, talk about certain things and certain people in the public sphere, but that's how you get people's attention. For the most part, it sucks, but it is what it is, man. We gotta do what we gotta do at the end of the day. But yeah, man, like, it is basically as it says, it's the principle of the matter, which I agree with. Like, principle alone, it's not really worth it, in my opinion. But still, like, why use somebody's melody when you could write your own? Anyways, I know because of deadlines that Steffen was in a tough position when we all left the band, but now I'm concerned that more of the music that Chris and I wrote for this album will still be used without our consent. I don't know when they left. Like, hold on. Obscura band members leave. I'm guessing this, yeah. Oh, okay, so, like, I'm guessing somewhere in, 2024. Around about 7 months ago. Around about 7 months ago. I'm researching as I'm talking, basically, so, yeah. It was sometime in 2024, basically leaving the band on a bad foot, you know, on, like, a foot to, like, I only skimmed what I was reading, but, like, you know, you get the idea. Like, yes, they left him in a position where he had to finish an album, but that doesn't mean he can use the rights to something that he doesn't own. Like, intellectual property is still property. It's still things people own. I don't know what the copyright is like on their specific musical recordings and how much they can prove what they've written, if that makes sense. It's one thing to say you own it, it's another thing to prove that you own it. Like, because you could say, because you was in Obscura as you wrote it, that Obscura as a band owned the right to use the melody. It was the same case in, what was it, in Immortal Disfigurement, where they still got their recordings back, even though the person who wrote the music tried to say that they couldn't use it. So yeah, it depends. It's like, you've got to be able to prove it definitively in some kind of way, or settle it in some kind of way. It is a difficult thing to prove. Like, legally speaking, it's a difficult thing to prove. Like, you got to have proof that you wrote it, you got to have proof you recorded it, you got to have proof of, like, even video of you doing it in, like, some ways, which is really fucked up, because I imagine when you're in that crazy process, you don't want to think about legal ramifications, or what happens if I leave this band, or what happens if, like, you know, you're in a space, you're in a moment, and I know, like, I don't think of legal things when I'm talking about things or doing things. It's not really something that goes onto my mind. You know what I mean? But still, last little bit, man. I'm always more for going the compassionate route, but I don't appreciate how this situation has been dealt with. It is not okay to use someone else's music, regardless of how much or how little we used, especially without credit. I agree. I mean, I don't think it's going to go the legal ramification route. I don't think they're going to go that far with it. It doesn't seem like one of those cases to me. It feels like it's just like a public outing of Obscura, which, judging by the direction they seem to be going right now, they are not the Obscura that we knew. I've listened to Obscura since I was a kid, since I was a teenager. Like, you know what I mean? Since for like a very long time now. And I know I've seen comments from people on videos who were just so pissed off, who were like, I pre-ordered this album and, like, I didn't even, and, like, it sounded like this. It sounds nothing like the Obscura that we know. And, you know, they want money back, or if they can't even get money back, it just depends, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's not fully released yet, but, you know, like, the pre-order's still in, and, you know, having to cancel stuff or not cancel stuff, or, you know. But it's also another reason why, even at the very beginning, when pre-order culture was still in its infancy, we said pre-order culture is a toxic thing to do. You're putting your money at risk at the end of the day, because you're not knowing what you're buying, if that makes sense. That's why a lot of game companies released unfinished games at this point. It's like a similar type of thing. It's like a, you know, don't put faith, man. The only literal band that I've ever pre-ordered a vinyl from is Seven Spires, because they're a band that I trust with their music. And I know you could say the same for Obscura, but with the amount of times people have left and joined and rejoined Obscura, I can't say they are a trustworthy band in terms of their the way they put their band together, the way they go with each other. They seem to just like say, okay, this person's left, let's just replace them. It's like everything seems replaceable, which I don't think is a very good sign of trust or of a creative process in music, in my opinion. But just my thoughts. It's a fucked up thing. You should never do this, man. You should never take people's music without credit, without telling them, without having them give you permission for it. It's a fucked up thing. It can get you sued. There are quite a few legal cases in like the bigger scenes of music, in like the pop scene and the rap scene and the R&B scene, of people stealing people's music and getting sued for it. So it's something that once you can prove it definitively, it can literally destroy Obscura, can destroy any band that you are in by doing it. Still, just my thoughts, just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know what I missed. Let me know like the bits that I haven't quite researched. This is just off the cuff, just initial thoughts and processing them. It might be extra videos. I don't know. We're going to see how this plays out. Besides, have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe if you like crazy, heavy, technical, amazing music. And yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful day.